The story of Egypt begins around 5,000 years ago in the fertile lands surrounding the Nile River. The Nile wasn't just a source of water, it was the heartbeat of Egypt. Every year, the river would flood, depositing nutrient-rich silt along its banks, creating some of the most fertile soil in the world. This allowed early Egyptians to grow crops like wheat and barley, which fed and sustained their communities. But Egypt's true rise as a civilization began when the kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt united under the first pharaoh, Narmer. Around 3100 BCE, this unification marked the beginning of the first dynasty and set the foundation for one of the most powerful civilizations in history. Pharaohs weren't just rulers, they were seen as gods on earth, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, or harmony in the universe. The people believed that as long as the pharaoh upheld Ma'at, Egypt would flourish. And flourish it did. The Old Kingdom, known as the Age of the Pyramids, saw the construction of some of Egypt's most famous monuments, including the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu. These structures were more than tombs, they were statements of power, achievements in engineering, and symbols of divine connection. Religion was deeply intertwined with Egyptian life, with gods representing natural elements and forces. Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and Isis, the goddess of magic, these deities played key roles in Egyptian mythology and helped solidify the pharaoh's divine authority. After a period of decline, Egypt entered what is known as the Middle Kingdom. This era saw Egypt expand its borders and influence through trade and conquest. Egyptian culture flourished with advances in art, literature, and architecture. The pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom also focused on connecting with the people, portraying themselves as protectors and shepherds of their land. This was also a time when Egypt established trade with distant lands, bringing in resources like gold, cedarwood, and exotic animals from places as far away as Nubia and the Levant. Egypt was no longer just a local power, it was becoming a cultural and economic center of the ancient world. The New Kingdom marked Egypt's golden age. Pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Thutmose III, and Ramses II expanded Egypt's territory to its greatest extent. This was the age of monumental temples, like the massive structures at Karnak and Abu Simbel, each one celebrating the gods and the divine pharaohs who ruled in their names. Egypt became a superpower, dominating lands from Nubia to the Near East. Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great, solidified his legacy as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs by leading military campaigns, signing one of the world's first peace treaties with the Hittites, and building an enduring image of Egyptian power. But even the greatest empires are not immune to decline. By the 12th century BCE, Egypt began to weaken due to a combination of internal struggles and external pressures. The New Kingdom collapsed, and Egypt was left vulnerable to invasions from foreign powers like the Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians. But even the greatest empires are not immune to decline. By the 12th century BCE, Egypt began to weaken due to a combination of internal struggles and external pressures. The New Kingdom collapsed, and Egypt was left vulnerable to invasions from foreign powers like the Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians. By 332 BCE, Egypt was conquered by Alexander the Great, who was seen by the Egyptians as a liberator from Persian rule. His successors, the Ptolemies, established a new dynasty that ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. It was during this period that Cleopatra VII, the last of the Ptolemies, rose to power. Cleopatra's dramatic life and alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony ultimately drew Egypt into the Roman sphere of influence. After her defeat and suicide in 30 BCE, Egypt officially became a province of the Roman Empire, ending over 3,000 years of Egyptian rule. Though Egypt's empire fell, its legacy lives on. From awe-inspiring monuments to advanced medicine, mathematics, and writing, ancient Egypt's influence can still be seen in our world today. Its story of triumph, power, and eventual decline remains one of the most fascinating tales in human history. If you enjoyed this journey through the rise and fall of ancient Egypt, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more deep dives into history's greatest stories. Let us know in the comments, which part of Egypt's story fascinates you the most.